Collaboration between academic and the policymaker will be crucial to exploring these areas, ensuring that research translates into actionable policies that drive sustainable and inclusive growth at both local and global levels. Just as my fellow is talking about the sustainability and the role of the capital market on mobilizing resources for sustainable development, I'm talking about the same issue actually. I'm talking about toward a shared future, the role of sustainability disclosure in advancing global sustainable development and the role of international sustainability standard board. Actually, if you would like to know that during the COP26 in Scotland, the IFRS, which is the International Financial Reporting Standard, they decided to create a standard board called ISSB, which is the International Sustainability Standard Board. And the reason behind that is that the global capital markets were demanding more comprehensive about sustainability-related matters. Hence, the ISSB has been created to issue standards that drive a comprehensive global baseline of sustainability-related financial disclosure to help investors evaluate, among other things, climate-related risks and opportunities. So in reality, the need for having a global baseline is a response to the Sustainable Development Goal 2015-2030 from the United Nations, as well as from the Paris Climate Agreement, in which we are talking about that investors, companies, policymakers, they need to implement such policies to be able to achieve the Sustainable Development Goal by the year 2030. And the main pillar here was about the capital mobilization, and financial markets or the capital markets are playing the key role of providing the needed financing for achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. I mean, according to some of the calculations that the world needs between 7 to 10 trillion US dollar every single year from now until the year 2030 to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. Additionally, the world would need between 3 to 5 trillion US dollar to achieve the Paris Agreement to keep the climate at not more than 1.5 Celsius until the year 2050. So in reality, we are talking between 10 to 12 trillion US dollars that is needed to achieve both goals about the Sustainable Development Goals as well as the Paris Climate Agreement. And the reality is that if we believe that the public sector or the government always have deficits, so it is the role for the private sector to take this initiative forward to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals as well as the climate change objectives. So the reality is that the capital market or the financial system is the key role to achieving such kind of objectives. And this is why when we were talking about the role of the listed companies in the stock exchange, there was a very strong need from the institutional investors, including pension fund, to insurance companies, the very long investors, that they will need a global baseline for sustainability. And the reality is that there was some sort of agreement that many of the investors, they will not like to invest but in green kind of project as well as sustainable related financial products. And this is why they need to have a comprehensive disclosure about the sustainability related risks and opportunities. So this is what the main role of creating the International Sustainability Standard Board. So the reality is that the ISSB was focusing on meeting information needs for investors, establish a comprehensive baseline for sustainability-related financial information, and to develop digital taxonomy to enable electronic tagging of disclosure, enable firms to provide comprehensive sustainability information for the global capital markets. By doing so, the ISSB's standards not only facilitating sustainability, but also serve as a unifying framework for nations to align their economic and environmental goals, fostering trust and collaboration across borders. In reality, the ISSB has international support when it's created back around 3 years ago with its work to develop sustainability disclosure standard backed by the G7, the G20, the International Organization of Security Commission, which is the IOSCO, the Financial Stability Board, African finance ministers and finance minister and central bank governors for more than 40 jurisdictions at that time. The stakeholders of the ISSB have some aims in achieving this, to developing, as I was mentioning before, to developing standards for global baseline for sustainability disclosure, meeting information needs for investors, enabling companies to provide comprehensive sustainability information to global capital markets, developing a standard with efficiency in mind to help companies to report what is needed globally to investors across markets globally, and designing a standard to provide the right information in the right way to support investor decision-making to facilitate international comparability to attract capitals. But recently, in January 2024, during the meeting of the ISSB in Montreal in Canada, it has been mentioned that the ISSB has taken its final decision in all the technical content of its initial standards, informed by feedback it received during extensive consultations during the entire 2022 and 2023. With the substance of the standards was fully agreed, the ISSB approved entering the throughout drafting of this standard. The ISSB agreed that initial IFRS sustainability disclosure, which is standards S1 and ST, will become effective starting from January 2024. So the general requirement for disclosure for sustainability-related financial disclosure, it aims to set out general principles and requirements for disclosing sustainability-related financial information. This standard would provide a framework for firms to report in environmental, social, and governance, which is called ESG factors, in a comprehensive and transparent manner. The IFRS, which is S2, is related to the climate-related disclosure. The main aim would be to address climate-related risks and opportunities by providing specific guidelines for disclosing climate-related information. This standard would help companies assess and disclose their exposure to climate risks, their strategies for managing these risks, and their effort to transition to allow low carbon economy. Given sustainability disclosure is new for many companies globally, the ISSB will introduce programs that support those applying its standard as market infrastructure capacity to build. And in reality, it's very challenging because you need to educate investors how to read this standard S1 about the sustainability-related financial disclosure, as well as S2, which is climate risk and opportunity. So investors need to read this disclosure and understanding the meaning and the magnitude of this disclosure. Regulators need to be educated to understand how they can make sure it is not a greenwashing, but what is disclosed by firms reflects the true evidence of what firms are doing. It's very important also for the policymaker to support such initiative if they would like to move gradually to the green economy and to have a low carbon emission environment. So actually, you need to have a learning curve during your road to achieve sustainability and the climate risks and opportunities. The effective date about 2025, 2026, 2027, which is a transitional period for many of the regulators around the globe to implement the sustainability and the climate risks and opportunity, was a response to capital markets and G20 demand for a common language for investor-focused sustainability-related disclosure, working to deliver standards that fulfill the global baseline. The reality is that the adoption of the IFRS S1 about sustainability-related financial disclosure, as well as S2, which is about climate risks and opportunities, this establish a common language for sustainability reporting, enabling countries to work together to address global challenges, reduce inequality, and support peace-building efforts. By focus on inclusivity, the ISSB ensures that no nation is left behind in adapting global sustainability standards, empowering both developed and emerging economies to contribute to shared goal. I will just conclude my intervention by putting some future research agenda, given that I'm coming from an academic background, so the research is very important as a professor of financial economics. For the IFRS S1 and S2 impact, research on the impact of sustainability reporting in firm performance is an active area of academic inquiry. Finding suggests that in most cases, there would be a positive sustainability disclosure are associated with favorable market reaction, firm financial performance, investment decision, and portfolio allocation, and improved stakeholder relationship, reducing risk, access to capital, and enhances reputations. As sustainability reporting standards continue to evolve over time, academic research could play a crucial role in assessing their effectiveness and implications for firm value. Research on the impact of sustainability reporting standards, such as hypothetical IFRS S1 and IFRS S2 on firm value, is expected to be an active area of academic research agenda. I will conclude by saying that future research should also explore the social impacts of sustainability disclosure, such as the role in fostering inclusion, reducing environmental conflicts, and promoting equitable development. Collaboration between academic and the policymaker will be crucial to exploring these areas, ensuring that research translates into actionable policies that drive sustainable and inclusive growth at both local and global levels. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.